Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching Tesla Time News.
Episode 201
on Now You Know. Brought to you as always by our amazing Patreons who make this show possible. Your support is critical for the work we do, so head over to patreon.com/nowyouknow and check out our exclusive Patreon bonus stories every week for just $1 a month.
And as Amazon associates we earned from qualifying purchases, you can help support this show anytime you are buying something off of Amazon anyway. About 4 or 5% of your purchases will go to help support this show, and it won't cost you anything.
And we're brought to you by Battery Hookup, the best place for all your DIY lithium battery needs. Don't get ripped off. Get hooked up. Now You Know viewers get 10% off by using the code NOW at batteryhookup.com.
And we're brought to you by ecoware.us. Start positive conversations with carbon negative products. So these t-shirts that we're wearing are from ecoware.us, and we carbon offset the manufacturing, the shipping, and the life cycle of the shirt. So that includes you washing it and wearing it and then throwing it away. We've carbon offset all of that, so your entire purchase is carbon negative, and we've planted over 1,000 trees around the world.
Yeah, so I'm going to Mars University.
Hasn't opened yet, apparently.
No, but I'm getting ready. I'm getting in line.
Right, because, no one's on Mars.
Right, and I figure I can take the courses probably over Zoom. I don't have to be in Mars to...
Online courses from Mars?
Yeah.
8-minute delay?
I'll wait 8 minutes.
All right, well, let's get into some exciting Tesla time news here today.
A lot of good news here. First is Tesla has just dropped the price of the Model Y long-range dual motor from $52,990 to $49,990. That's right, a $3,000 price drop. You can now get that car for under $50,000.
Wow. Okay, let's stop right there. That's pretty impressive because the Mach-E is going to be coming out. It's going to cost about $60,000. And so now the Model Y, you're talking about a $10,000 price difference for a car that can supercharge.
Yeah.
Wow.
And not only did the long range come down, the performance Model Y had a price drop as well, $1,000 cheaper, so now $59,990, and you get included with that the performance package, which had been some extras. So you get the increased top speed, you get the 21-inch Uber turbine wheels, the performance brakes, the lowered suspension, and the aluminum alloy pedals, all included. Now, what I want to know is, why did Elon do this? I understand if he did it during Q2 trying to get sales up, but this isn't going to affect Q2, so why did he lower the price?
So Tesla's been doing this since they started pretty much. They've been lowering the prices of all of their vehicles as they have increased efficiency in their production.
That is not normal, Jesse.
I know,
you
right?
don't lower the prices of things that you have demand for.
Right.
That is just basic American corporation,
right?
101.
And so, yeah, when the Model S and X first came out, they were much, 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 much more expensive. We're talking 30% more expensive, and those have slowly come down in price as there have been more features added to them. So there has been an increase in value that Tesla has continued to bring to the table, and a lot of people, especially shorts, don't quite understand this. They just think, oh, they're running out of demand. Oh my God, guys, they're running out of, oh my God, there's no demand. And that's not the case, right? So everyone just calm down. It's not that there's no demand. It's just that Tesla has pretty much always done this. But the shorts always bring out this argument of well, there's no demand. That's why they have to lower their prices, which means that they're losing money on every car, which of course is not the case, right? Because there's quite a margin on Tesla cars.
And in fact, I think he's just opening this up to a bigger market. As you lower the price of the car, more people can afford it.
Right. Another aspect to this is that this might allow more people to buy the full self-driving package. It just went up to $8,000 to get full self-driving for your car with a price reduction of $3,000. People who might have been bummed that they're oh, it went from 7 to 8. Now I'm not going to get it. If the car is $3,000 less, they're going to go, well, maybe I'll get the full self-driving.
So Tesla just announced that their shareholder day and battery day are not going to be September 15th. They're going to be September 22nd. Tesla announced today that its 2020 annual meeting of stockholders will be held in person on Tuesday, September 22nd, 2020 at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time at Tesla's Fremont factory, located at 45500 Fremont Boulevard, Fremont, California. Eligible stockholders may also attend Tesla's separate Battery Day presentation, which will be held on the same day, with additional details to be announced at a later time. No formal stockholder business will be conducted at such presentation. Tesla intends to webcast both events live. So Why do you think they moved the date?
Well, I'm glad that you asked, because one of our very astute viewers kind of looked at some of these clues and has put together a plausible theory.
Okay. What
Here
is
it is. It's going to be a Lord of the Rings themed Battery Day.
What?
So there have been too many coincidences lately that are probably Easter eggs from Elon to let us know that this is going to happen. So first, Elon was asked what his favorite fictional character was on Twitter, and he replied Samwise Gamgee from Lord of the Rings. He is Frodo's friend.
Oh, right. His loyal friend.
Loyal Hobbit friend. Later, he replied to a tweet chain featuring a potential origin story of Tolkien's inspiration for the magical ring in Lord of the Rings series. Finally, Battery Day was moved from September 15th to September 22nd, a.k.a. Hobbit Day, the birthday of Bilbo and Frodo Baggins. So therefore, Lord of the Ring. So we should be expecting Battery Day to feature a Plaid Model S with a new battery, which will shortly prior to the event set a new Nürburgring record. So that's why it's going to be Lord of the Ring themed. Just like, if you remember, Elon loves to do this.
Yeah.
Right? Blade Runner.
Blade Runner for Cybertruck Day.
It came out the day that Blade Runner happened in the future from the movie.
Okay, so that's, I guess, why I would say this is plausible, because, yes, it's crazy sounding that you'd put it on Frodo's birthday, but, yeah, that's how Elon likes to do things. So
I mean, it's just a week away, so maybe he's going to come out dressed as Gandalf or whatever.
Oh, dressed as Gandalf.
I don't know. Would he dress up as Gandalf, Legolas, Gimli? What would you...
I don't think he's going to come out dressed as anything, but I do agree that maybe he'll make the rest of the crew,
right.
Hey, Drew.
So listen, look, here's the crazy thing. This idea sounds implausible.
Right.
But he has done so many nutty, crazy things and seems to have so many big-brained schemes.
Okay, so if it happens, you heard it here first.
Exactly.
If it doesn't happen, forget that you learned it here.
Right, whatever. Okay. It was just a funny joke, right? And so on top of the news that Battery Day is going to be on September 22nd, the earnings call is going to be on July 22nd. And so, yeah, that's coming up. It'll be on a Wednesday. So, clear your calendars for that, at least for the afternoon.
Yeah. And so let's talk about Tesla's new battery patent that came out. So another new Tesla battery patent authored by Jeff Don, and this is for electrolytes with lithium difluorooxaltoborate and lithium tetrafluoroborate salts for lithium metal and anode-free battery cells.
Oh, right. Of course. The tetrafluoro... Batola Badooty.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I thought it would be.
Exactly. And of course, that's going to make your batteries all the gooder. Exactly.
Well, so in short, this new electrolyte could help with longevity. It looks like they've only tested it to 50 cycles, so there's still lots of unknowns. And keep in mind that companies like Tesla patent lots of tech that they may never actually use in production. But again, this was probably all supposed to come out after Battery Day and was probably supposed to make some sense because we'd be able to put it into some bigger picture. Now we're just looking at these little pieces. So we have no idea whether there's a big piece of news or nothing at all. But there is some big news, and it comes in a little package.
And it is unfortunately already sold out. So Tesla short shorts. Tesla came out and sold short shorts. They say sexy right on the bum there. And I have to say, these are good looking short shorts.
A little pricey at $69.420.
Yes. So again, this is, you might be wondering, like, well, why would Tesla sell shorts? I thought they sold cars. This is a poke at Tesla shorts. So just a quick refresher, shorts are people who sell the stock and then buy it at a lower price or hope to buy it at a lower price because they think the stock is going to go down.
How's that working out for you?
Yeah, there have been lots of people who have been shorting Tesla and coming up with lots of cockamamie schemes of how it's going to be, Tesla's going to go bankrupt in the next, X number of days because of some ridiculous reason, and it's never really panned out for them.
Right.
And this is just Elon making fun of them because, again, if you're shorting a company, you're not helping that company. Right. You're lowering the share price.
And this is how Elon gets back at you.
Yeah.
He makes money by poking fun at you.
Right.
So Elon virtually attended the World AI Conference last week in Shanghai and answered some questions during the Q&A period. Elon said they are looking to hire engineers to work on self-driving and that Tesla doesn't just want to convert stuff from America to work in China. Elon went on to say, I'm extremely confident that level 5 autonomy will happen, and it will happen very quickly. I think I remain confident that we will have the basic functionality for level 5 autonomy complete this year. So yes, I think there are no fundamental challenges remaining for level 5 autonomy. There are many small problems, and then there's the challenge of solving all those small problems and then putting the whole system together and just keep addressing the long tail of problems. But I'm absolutely confident that this can be accomplished with the hardware that is in the Teslas today, and simply by making software improvements, we can achieve level 5 autonomy.
So that's a very, I think a lot of people would say, a very bold statement.
Yeah.
Coming from Elon, that he is so confident in the software that they're working on now. And I've seen a couple places kind of balk at this and say like,
But there was a car that was summoning the other day and it bumped into something. So it's impossible that you could do level 5.
again, if we had kind of come out in 2001 and we were like, someday we're going to have a game that looks as good as, whatever the latest video game is.
Last of Us 2.
Right. If we're like, it's going to look like this. And, we were looking at graphics that were, from the original Half-Life, you would be like, sure. Yeah, right.
Right. Software improves all the time.
Exactly.
And this quote here really caught me. He said, we still actually haven't fully explored the power of the Tesla full self-driving computer. In fact, we only turned on the second system AI chip partially a few months ago. So making full use of the Tesla full self-driving computer will probably take us at least another year or so. So basically what he's, I think, saying is we haven't even fully used the hardware we just developed. And we're already confident we can do level 5. So it's not like they're pushing it to its extremes. They've barely scratched the surface of its power.
And hey, if you want to share this story with someone, but you don't want to share this whole 1 hour video with them, you can head over to the Now You Know Clips channel. You just search Now You Know Clips on YouTube. It'll bring you to the Now You Know Clips channel. And there you will find this story along with many others that are in clip form. So it's much shorter. You send it to your friend. They only see that part. They're not going to be talking to you about other parts of the video. And they also won't balk at the 1 hour long runtime.
And you know what else we have over there? We put our out of context clips there once a month. So
Yes.
you get to see all the hijinks that we do
So-
in a little clip.
So all the funny stuff that when Brent and Bobby, put our faces on someone else, you can see all of those in one thing. It's very funny.
So the Dutch postal delivery company PostNL in the Netherlands has started replacing 1,000 gas scooters with 600 electric vehicles, all of which they hope to replace by 2021. PostNL says they will save 285,000 liters of gasoline every year by switching to electric. And they've started replacing their diesel van fleet with the new all-electric cargo vans from Renault and these electric stints in the city of Leeuwarden. They plan to electrify their fleets in 25 cities by 2025.
I think that the kind of the interesting takeaway was that they had already been using like mopeds to deliver mail. And yeah, like if you're just delivering mail, not packages,
Or small packages.
or even small packages, why do you need such a big truck?
Right. Much more efficient to do it with a smaller vehicle.
Right.
And then much more efficient still to do it with an electric one.
Yeah. And again, you might be saying like, okay, but I don't live in the Netherlands. Who cares? The thing is, once this kind of works in the Netherlands and they're going to be saving a ton of money on just on fuel alone, let alone maintenance, you can kind of point to that. You can go to like your local post office or whatever and say like, hey, you guys should really switch because look at Netherlands and how much money they're saving. At the end of the day, dollars and cents is where it's at.
So according to NBC affiliate KXAN, last Thursday, the Del Valle Independent School District approved the incentive plan with Tesla for building a 4 to 5 million square foot gigafactory at the 2,100-acre site located near the airport in Austin, Texas.
This plan would cap Tesla's property values for 10 years and save Tesla $68 million in property taxes. This is because Tesla would be hiring about 5,000 people.
Now, could this speedy vote have been made because Tesla is also looking at Tulsa, Oklahoma?
I think so. I think that basically, these two places are vying for Tesla's gigafactory. Obviously, there's a huge economic benefit to having a gigafactory located in your area.
Yeah, if you look at this chart here, it shows how much money the school district would have made if Tesla didn't build. So that's that just flat line at the bottom there in orange. Then you see the green line, which is what Tesla will pay, versus the blue line, what Tesla will save. So basically, if you do allow Tesla in, you're going to get all that tax revenue.
Right. And so that is sort of the incentive that big companies can use and leverage when they're moving into an area. If I was opening a lemonade stand and I was like, all right, Tulsa, so what are you going to give me? And they're like, how many jobs are you going to create? And I'd be like, well, just me. I squeeze the lemons and I add the sugar and I give it to people. And then go, okay, and how much, extra tax revenue are you going to pay? And I'd be like, taxes? I'm running a lemonade stand. What do you think? I'm going to be paying taxes? They'd go, okay, well, we're not going to grant you anything. I'm like, all right, fine. I'll just go at the end of my driveway. But for Tesla, I mean, having 5,000 jobs in that area is an influx of money into that area, which means that not only are those people getting jobs, it means that the local economy gets a big boost. That's the reason that they do it.
Now, Tesla needs to also receive approval from the Travis County commissioners for an additional tax abatement. Travis County could decide as soon as today, Monday, on a new incentive deal with Tesla that would grant a 70% tax rebate on the first $1.1 billion that Tesla invests, 75% on the second billion, and 80% once $2 billion worth of investment is exceeded. Now, the property tax rate in Travis County is 0.369%. So we're only talking about $1.1 million on the first $1 billion. So in my opinion, this isn't going to change anything. I mean, the Del Valley School District controlled the big incentive of tens of millions of dollars. And so whether or not Travis County gives them an incentive or not, I think if Tesla wants to move to Austin with this vote from the school district, they're good to go.
So, I mean, the thing here is that, proportionally, $68 million compared to the billions of dollars that Tesla is prepared to pour into the Gigafactory, it doesn't seem like much. But then at the end of the day, if like tomorrow you got a check for $68 million, you'd be like, woohoo! That's megabucks territory right there. And so that amount of money is still important, and that is why Tesla is still trying to get that.
So the Model Y has hit Europe.
Wait, what? But the Giga Berlin hasn't even started making cars yet. There isn't even a building there yet. I mean, did Tesla build them in tents? What's going on?
Sorry. I meant to say this story here that Volvo in Sweden imported a Model Y so that they could reverse engineer it. Remember, Volvo did the same thing before with the Model 3 back in 2018. So they've gotten themselves a Model Y. They're going to tear it apart, kind of like Sandy Munro does, so they can figure out how the damn thing works.
Interesting. And, I mean, this is not uncommon for car companies to do, but it is uncommon in the fact that it's a little uncommon because Tesla is such a unique car manufacturer and makes arguably the best electric cars in the world, as well as some of the manufacturing techniques that Tesla implemented when they were making the Model Y.
I actually respect companies that tear apart the Teslas because that means that they're trying to figure out what Tesla's up to. And that means they know that they're a little bit behind and that they need to catch up. Right. And that's one way to do it. Tesla Time News is sponsored by Cybertruck Owners Club. There you'll find a crowdsourced reservation tracker that you can update and also find out your spot in line. You can check out their website for Cybertruck news, discussions, and community for Cybertruck enthusiasts and future owners. And they've got a 3D configurator allowing you to visualize the Cybertruck in any color, wrap, and logo, both on screen and in augmented reality.
All right, so this tweet here from Elon Musk, he says, Berlin Model Y is the one to watch. That is a revolution in automotive body engineering, finally. So what is he saying there? But because we've already seen the Model Y, and as we talked about just a minute ago, it's a very innovative car. Like the whole back half of the car is made out of just two pieces of aluminum.
Yeah, does this mean they're going to be building it differently in Germany than in other places in the world?
Right.
Or they're going to develop some new way to build it and then transport that to other gigafactories? Because I assume once one gigafactory does it differently, they'll all update.
Right. I mean, I think that there was talk of like the whole car being one cast aluminum piece.
Ka-chunk.
Right. And I don't mean like the windows. I just mean like the metal underbody parts, right. And, not the panels, like not the part that you see necessarily.
Oh, I see. The main frame.
Yeah, the frame of the car.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. And then M. Johnnius Capcan said, Model Y is still too big for some cities in Europe. What about smaller European-style hatchbacks? And Elon said, probably a good one to design and engineer in Germany. So he kind of talked about this in Shanghai, right? He said there's going to be a Chinese-designed and engineered car in China. Now he seems to be saying we're going to do the same thing in Europe.
Right. For anyone who's ever been to different continents, such as Europe and the United States, you notice that the style of cars are completely different. And absolutely right. In Europe, smaller cars are favored because there are lots of streets that are very tiny. Parking is obviously at a premium, yada, yada,
But
yada.
let me ask you, one of the reasons I think that smaller cars have always been favored in Europe is because the price of gasoline is way higher. The government's put a higher tax on it, and so it costs a lot more per liter or gallon. Is it possible, just saying, that once you get to an electric car where you're spending less money to fuel it, that they'll want to go to a bigger car, let's say a Cybertruck?
It is possible. I know that the Cybertruck is definitely going to be too large for some European cities, especially, some particular streets and stuff like that. I think, though, that what Elon is saying, because we have to think about timelines here, if you think about when the Gigafactory is going to be completed, so maybe in about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, I don't know. Further down the line, the Model Y will have been out for a while, and Tesla is going to be a much different company than we're even thinking about today. Tesla will have the resources to be able to develop those cars, and if those cars were designed in Germany and then built in Germany, the German car market is going to love that.
Yeah.
Because even though it is a American company, obviously the CEO is South African. I think that we're getting into a little bit more global way of thinking, and I think that it's very smart to have the designers from that area. The same thing with the Chinese designed car that he mentioned when the Gigafactory opened in Shanghai.
Then Tesla Paratodo said, are you sticking to modules or going straight from cell to pack? And Elon said, keep your eyes on that.
Well, he said, it's just an emoji with two eyes.
Right.
So it means watch it.
Okay. Then ElonX.net said full body casting. Elon said, keep your eyes on that. And then Apollo said single or two-piece frame cast. And Elon said, even more?
So he either means there's going to be even more pieces to the frame cast, or there's going to be even less pieces than one piece. So it's not going to have any pieces at all. Because as you know in engineering, you want to have as few pieces as possible. So you ideally would like to have negative pieces.
Okay.
I don't know. It's Elon. He lands rockets on ships in the middle of the ocean. I don't know. If he can make negative parts, that's probably what he'll do. Antimatter. There you go. So this sort of points to the fact that when they build a Gigafactory in Europe, they're going to change the design of the Model Y.
Interesting.
And some people might be going like, oh, then I'm going to go cancel my Model Y reservation. It probably won't have any effect on the car itself and the driving characteristics and anything else to do with that. There might be some weight reductions. I have no idea. But for the manufacturing process, I think that is really what's going to be the key there. That is what's going to drop the price. Because if they can manufacture it for cheaper, this is stuff that Sandy Munro focuses on all the time, constantly. It's just like, why would you use that kind of weld when this one would be easier? Or why would you use that kind of cup holder when this one would be cheaper? Or why would you do this when this would be easier, cheaper, faster, or better, or longer lasting? I think that Tesla has been so focused on producing this car, and we saw the difference between the Model 3 and the Model Y on Sandy Munro as well, where basically they were able to take 80 parts, condense them down to one. If Tesla can do the same thing with the Model Y again and make it even simpler, then we're going to be off to the races here.
So Elon tweeted out, if you can't beat them, join them, Neuralink's mission statement. Progress update August 28th, AI symbiosis while you wait.
So basically, Neuralink is Elon's company that is working on a chip that they put in your brain. Right? Simple as that. The thing that you've always, if only I just had a little chip in my brain. He's actually working on it, and that's what Neuralink is doing. And so the reason why he says if you can't beat him, join him, is because he wants there to be a way for your brain to talk directly to an artificial intelligence, which means that we're not going to be house cats, because instead of the artificial intelligence being like, and you're just like, what? You'd be able to have it, hardwired into your brain.
Then iHeart Tesla said, so who gets to sign up for human trials? How are you going to determine eligibility? Elon said, no easy way to answer this in a tweet, but helping with dire brain injuries is our first priority, details August 28th. Pranjay said, can Neuralink be used to retrain the part of the brain which is responsible for causing addiction or depression? And Elon said, for sure. This is both great and terrifying. Everything we've ever sensed or thought has been electrical signals. The early universe was just a soup of quarks and leptons. How did a very small piece of the universe start to think of itself as sentient? Oh
So,
my God, this should be called Philosophy Day. I mean, we're getting into big existential questions here.
Yeah, like,
about what is it to be human? Should we all allow ourselves to be interfaced with cyborgs?
it's like everything that any movie has anything to do with brain stuff. Like, oh, they take a pill and all of a sudden they're like they're really smart. Oh, they can use 100% of their brain. Oh, now they can bend buildings in half. Like, I don't know. So yeah, it's like, right, what are we gonna discover when we start, messing around in there?
And then Viv said, wondering if this will fundamentally change the value of unique skills once it rolls out to the general public. If you can easily unlock whatever ability you desire, what makes you you? On the contrary, this might enable faster progress and people to reach goals more efficiently. Elon said, absolutely. The Pope of Muscanity said, that is a holy question. What makes you you is one hotly debated idea in philosophy. Is it your body? If so, the absence of continuity in what constitutes your body, atoms, incites us to ask many follow-up questions. Elon said, death is the loss of information. And that Tesla guy said, sounds like it may ruin the possibility of a meritocracy and instead turn into who can pay for the most brain electrodes. Elon said, earning power post-augmentation would easily pay for itself if that's even necessary. This is the best thing I can think of to ensure that collective humans will decide the future.
What head of a company have you ever heard that talks about this at all? I don't mean like a lot. I mean at all. That you've ever heard of anyone
Maybe a philosophy textbook company? Yeah, I don't know.
And not only are they just like, why are we here? I have so many questions. He's like, hey, you know what? We're going to drill a hole in your brain, put a little chip in there, and we might be able to solve addiction.
Also, he hasn't talked about money. Like, whenever he's asked, like, how much does this cost? He's like, don't worry about it. That we're focusing on saving people's brain diseases and making, life feasible in the future. Not like, we're going to sell you this widget for $19.99.
And the question is, why is he doing this? And it's because he's so afraid of AI. He's a pretty smart engineer guy, right? A lot of people like to say that he's like a businessman. He is an engineer first, a businessman second, for sure. And he likes to learn things himself.
Yep.
So when they learned rocketry, he read thick textbooks on rocketry and learned all of it. So he's learned a lot about AI, and he's terrified about it because if you set an AI and you're just like, oh, make paper clips, it'll just turn the whole universe into paper clips unless you have some other bounds on that. And we don't know how good we are at making AI do stuff because we don't have any AIs to play with, which is also a good thing because if we messed up, then the whole universe would be paper clips. So it's kind of a catch-22 there. What he wants to do is have an interface with AI that is direct, not just like tap, 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 tap. Slow. I didn't even write a sentence there. So that is what he's trying to go for. At the same time, he's making electric vehicles, and at the same time, he's making rockets. It's basically, he doesn't want humans to go extinct. That's like his number one goal. And that's a pretty noble goal, you could argue. You could also argue the opposite, but that is, again, a philosophical question.
So much that we're going to be learning on August 28th. This is super exciting.
So we've got like a packed summer and fall here of exciting news.
Yeah. All right, so starting this month, California drivers will be paying more whether they drive an EV or an ICE car. California raised their gas tax by 3.2 cents to 50.5 cents per gallon, but California also introduced a one-time $100 registration fee for EVs and an annual fee of up to $175 based on the vehicle's value.
So an EV worth $5,000 will pay a $25 fee, and for EVs $60,000 and higher, it'll be $175.
Now, you may be like, hey, that's not fair. I drive an EV, and I shouldn't have to pay all this money to drive an EV.
But let's do some math. The average ICE car will pay $285 a year in gas tax, and the average EV will pay about $125.
So keep in mind that currently ICE cars still make up 99% of the cars on the road, so it's not EVs that are causing this lack of funding for roads and bridges. A lot of people are like, it's not fair that EVs don't have to pay their fair share, and that's why we don't have good roads. That is not why we don't have good roads and bridges.
It's such an infinitesimal amount of money that we would be talking about. But in the future, when we're talking about 100% EVs, if they all weren't paying a gas tax, okay, you might run into some issues on how you're going to pay for your road.
Which is why I think it's smart that California has introduced this bill, because that way we're actually looking forward to when we do switch to all EVs, we're going to have a way to pay for the roads.
Right. Is it perfect, though? No, because it's not based on mileage, whereas the gas tax is at least a little bit closer associated to it. But obviously these, laws aren't written in stone. They're written on paper or digital, I guess. I don't know where laws are written. They don't teach that in school. So they can change them in the future. Bikmo is a specialized bike insurance provider, and they just released data from a recent study they conducted of over 3,000 of its riders in Europe. They surveyed 1,000 e-bike riders and 2,000 pedal bike riders, and here's what they found.
I knew it. E-bikes are dangerous.
Well, no, actually, they found the opposite. E-bikes accounted for 38% fewer insurance claims compared to pedal bikes on average.
How's that possible? E-bikes go faster.
Well, Bikmo says that they attribute the lower risk seen by e-bike riders to those riders being more risk averse. So here's the thing with e-bikes. They are more expensive than your traditional bikes for the most part.
Okay.
So if you're, an entry-level e-bike is going to cost you a lot more than an entry-level pedal bike.
Okay.
And a high-end e-bike is, again, going to cost more than a high-end pedal bike. So that is one aspect where these riders aren't going to be putting these bikes at risk, basically leaving them outside without being locked or not putting enough locks on them. And so Bikmo used the data to set lower premiums for electric bike riders since they weren't paying out as much on electric bikes.
Yeah, David George, Bikmo's CEO, said, "The team here at Bikmo are hugely proud to announce a 25% cut on our electric bike premiums, believing firmly that e-bikes play a central role in the future of cycling. We want to lead the way in encouraging more people to discover the many benefits they offer." But I want to get back to my question. Mm-hmm. E-bikes are faster than regular bikes, right? So doesn't that make them more dangerous?
Well, you also have to consider that we're talking about Europe, and Europe has a little bit more restrictions on e-bikes. Obviously, you can get an e-bike that it straddles the line between motorcycle and bike, and you can get it up, get them up to 60 miles an hour if you don't have any, software restrictions on them. But what I would argue is that e-bikes have a huge advantage when it comes to acceleration. And just like we see with Tesla vehicles, there is kind of a plus and a minus with acceleration. With bikes, I think you're mostly getting the plus, which is that you're getting out of the way of dangerous traffic faster. So if you're crossing a street and you have a throttle, which I know not many of these bikes have, but even if you have assistance when you're in that low gear and you're just trying to get across the street faster, an e-bike is going to do it faster, which means
so get you out of harm's way. So Formula E driver Lucas de Grassi and ex-F1 driver Alex Wirtz are collaborating on e-scooter championship, the first ever international electric race scooter series to launch in 2021.
So we're racing e-scooter, like Lime scooters?
Yeah, well, a little more beefed up than a Lime scooter, but yes, ride-on scooters. These are going to reach speeds of over 100 kilometers an hour. Organizers said the category's affordability removes the high barrier to entry seen in most other motorsport series, and its versatility means that the series can recruit from a truly diverse cross-section of competitors, including racing drivers, cyclists, skaters, snowboarders, motorcyclists, and even esports racers.
This is a very interesting tack to take because, we are experiencing the high price of motorsports now with our electric performance channel, where we're going to be, again, taking a Model 3 Performance up Pike's Peak to try and set the record for production electric vehicle. And yeah, it's expensive to do, because tires are expensive and roll cages are expensive, and basically everything to do with a car is expensive. If you've owned a car, you know that that's true.
Although way cheaper than an ICE car. So now if you go down to a scooter where you don't have a roll cage and you don't have as many safety features, scary to be the driver.
Sure.
But I would imagine it's going to be really fun to watch.
Yeah, I think that this will be really interesting to watch because so many people talk about racing and they talk about the human element. And most of the times, you're just looking at a bunch of cars. You're not thinking about the racer themselves, so their physique and whatever, it doesn't matter. They're stuffed into a car. You don't get to see them at all. Plus, I like what they're saying here that basically a lot more people can get into it because it's not going to cost that much to make an electric scooter. It's probably going to cost you, I don't know, less than 10 grand, even if you were making one from scratch.
Yeah.
Which is very exciting because most race cars that go fast are going to cost well over $50,000, probably in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right. I think we should enter Blake Fuller, our race car driver, in this series.
It's true. We've seen him riding on the Stater scooter before. Maybe the Stater could be one of those scooters.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So Tesla continues to do well in China. Check this out. During a very tough April in China, Tesla delivered 3,635 made in Shanghai Model 3 cars. In May, Tesla sales jumped to a record 11,095 units.
Now the Chinese Passenger Car Association has released June numbers, and drumroll please. Even though the overall car market went down 6.5% and EV sales went down 35%, Tesla sold almost 15,000 Model 3s, capturing 23% of the Chinese EV market. This means that China made up about 1/3 of Tesla's global sales in the second quarter.
That is huge, and that, again, was during a really, really tough quarter.
Exactly.
Imagine what could happen next quarter.
Exactly.
Now, the Boring Company has announced their Not a Boring competition. This competition challenges teams to come up with tunneling solutions and answers the question, can you beat the snail? The Boring Company is gauging interest from everyone, students, companies, hobbyists, etc., from around the world to design, build, and race their own tunneling solution at the Boring Company's Gigafactory in the first Not a Boring competition in the spring of 2021.
Wait, so this isn't the Hyperloop competition where they're racing like a thing through a tunnel.
No, this is making the tunnel.
This is making the tunnel.
Yeah. So there'll be 3 categories. Fastest to complete the tunnel, fastest to complete the tunnel and a driving surface. We will drive a Tesla remote-controlled car through the tunnel, they said. And the most accurate guidance system. How far away is the tunnel from its target? Those will be the 3 categories that you can win at.
Okay, wait. So I get it. They want people to come and compete to build the best tunnel, but they already have a boring machine. They're already working on boring technology. Why do they expect to get some kind of great technology out of this competition?
Elon is so smart. I think that he's doing this so that he can attract the best talent in the world and then just be like, doop, 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 doop.
Oh, right. Because basically these competitions generally are teams that come from specific schools, engineering schools most of the time. And so those students are going to be graduating at some point and looking for jobs. And if they were in the boring competition, or I'm sorry, not a boring competition, then the Boring Company can just kind of snatch them up and be like, hey, do you want a job?
Exactly.
Because we know that you know a little bit about boring. Even if your tunnel making machine broke, you still have some idea of what you're doing.
Exactly.
So when you come for for your first day of work, you're going to be hitting the ground running as opposed to someone who's like, oh, yeah, I did mechanical engineering and I want to build planes. And they're like, all right, well, you're going to be making tunnels. Okay, is it like planes? Yeah, except it's underground and it's 1,000 times slower. Oh, okay.
Exactly. If you would like to enter the competition, we'll post the link below so that you can join up. And take a quick look here, though, at the last question. You don't want to get that one wrong. So GM has announced that it will stop making the Chevy Sonic at its Orion Township assembly plant near Detroit so that it can make room for the refreshed Bolt EV and the Bolt EUV.
Which one is the Chevy Sonic?
It looks like this.
Oh, okay. This would make the Orion plant GM's second all-electric plant. Although Megan Soul, GM's spokesperson, did say, with this shift, it will make Orion an all-EV manufacturing facility with the ability to build ICE vehicles as needed in the future.
Wait a minute. As needed in the future?
As needed in the future. In the future when they're going to be making ICE vehicles.
You just switched 2 plants over to EV. You're doing good there, GM. Good. Good.
And then, but don't worry, we can still make gas cars there. I have a feeling that this is either true that they could. I mean,
the Sonic could come back.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like, any building, you could build a car in it.
Right.
You know, you just need to put the robots in there and it needs to be big enough, which obviously it is.
No, this just goes to show GM's mindset that they're so like...
They're like, oh, don't worry. We're building an EV, but don't worry. We could go back to building nice cars at any moment.
All right, so let's talk about this Bolt EUV.
Right.
What you're seeing here is the Buick Volite 7, which came out in China and could give us an idea about what the Bolt EUV would look like. Basically, the EUV will be the existing Bolt 66 kilowatt-hour battery. It'll have a 3-inch longer wheelbase, 6 inches of additional cabin room, and a sunroof, and the Super Cruise assisted driving package. It will also have faster charger, an 11 kilowatt up from the Bolt's 7.2 kilowatt charger, and is expected to come out in mid-2021. But there are no details on the range or the price.
So 66 kilowatt hours isn't that many kilowatt hours for an electric vehicle.
Right. I mean, it's enough to get the Bolt 250 miles of range.
Right. And that's fantastic.
Right. And the question is, now you're putting a bigger vehicle on it, probably going to get less range.
Right. I mean, Tesla, the long-range Model Y has a 75 kilowatt-hour pack. And so now we're talking about roughly 10% less than that. And also, we know that the Bolt isn't as efficient as the Model 3 or the Model Y. So that is going to mean that this car is going to be bigger than the Bolt, less efficient than the Bolt, and have a smaller battery pack than the Model Y. I'm just worried about range. I think that it'll probably be able to hit 200 miles.
Oh, definitely 200. I'm guessing like 220, something like that. But
that's usable. I'll say that is usable.
It's usable, but I don't know, it's going backwards kind of from what we're expecting cars to do. I just think this was a throw together. This was just like, hey, what can we quickly do to get something out to compete with the Model Y?
And it's like, okay, we'll take the Bolt pack and we'll just repackage it and it'll be a bigger thing, which is good. Again, the Model Y is just a bigger Model 3.
But don't forget, they're losing money on every Bolt sale. So they're going to lose money on every Bolt EUV sale.
I think it's safe to assume that at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, while we're talking about upcoming electric SUVs, Audi has unveiled their Q4 Sportback e-tron concept, which is due out in late 2021. And Amar Valle, the exterior designer, says it's very much the car you are going to see on the road. So that's kind of the only reason we're showing it here. Is normally we shy away from concept cars, but Audi is saying that this is pretty much what it's going to look like, and it better be, because if it's coming out in just a year and a half, they don't have time to change much.
Mm-hmm. Now, Audi is aiming for a starting price of $45,000 or 40,000 euros for a single motor, small battery pack edition.
Yeah, the high-end model would have 2 motors for 225 kilowatts of power, an 82 kilowatt-hour battery, 450 kilometers or 280 miles of WLTP range, and you know what we think about that.
Right. Well, less than probably.
And this would come out in a year and a half or late 2021. All right, so Jesse, I've got this screenplay that I've been working on. I want to pitch it to you. Okay. Here, okay. It's a whodunit.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
It's like a mystery. Okay.
Okay.
So fade in on the small town of Sandefjord on the outskirts of Oslo, Norway.
Wow. Cool.
Lots of Teslas are parked on the street where the mayor, Bjorn Olgerich, lives. Mm-hmm. Okay. An arsonist comes running out of the building, and a few seconds later, the house erupts in flames.
Wow.
Okay, now cut to police station.
Yeah.
The head detective is sitting baffled at his desk. He has no evidence to solve this crime. He doesn't know who did it. Now in rolls Detective Tesla.
Wait, what?
I can help you, Chief Inspector. Let me introduce myself. I'm Detective Tesla, and I have a network of spies all throughout the city who record everything suspicious. Using our Sentry Mode cams, we can probably track down this arsonist for you.
Wait,
huh? What do you think? Are you hooked? Do you want to buy it?
You lost
me. Should we send it to Netflix? Greenlight it.
So there's a talking car?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You
Detective
lost me
Tesla.
There. No. You lost. This is so unrealistic.
It's not unrealistic.
What
this is like a documentary. This is actually happening as we speak. The police in Norway.
There's a talking car?
No. That part I made up. But
inspired of true events.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
The police in Norway are asking Tesla owners to check their Sentry Cam footage to see if they caught anything helpful on video, because this actually happened. The mayor's house was burnt down, and they were trying to catch the arsonist.
And so they didn't have any evidence, and they're basically hoping that one of these cameras, if you had a street lined with Teslas and you go running down the street,
it might turn on.
You might turn on some of the Sentry Mode cameras, and that would give you a time and a place and maybe what the perpetrator looked like.
Yeah. So, we don't know yet. Maybe Teslas will help solve this crime.
That is crazy. And you see, this is cool because there's only a few places in the world where there are that high a concentration of Teslas.
Right. California.
And Norway. I think that we're going to see that this might change the way they're going to be like, doing their crime. And they're going to be like, stop doing crime. There's a Tesla over there. Careful.
Isn't this a weird world? If you had tried to predict this, a decade ago,
right?
You'd be like, what science fiction are you talking about? This is actual fact.
Yeah.
So Tesla has 2 new accessories for the Model S and X. The first is an aftermarket wireless phone charger for the S and X, and this is for those owners who bought their cars before Tesla had the wireless charger installed at the factory. Tesla says, stay charged with the Model SX wireless phone charger. Simply dock your QI-enabled smartphone into the holster for quick and secure charging without cables, provides up to 7.5 watts of power. Note that if you have the MCU1, you will only get 5 watts of charging. Now that's $125, so that ain't cheap, and you can get those from third-party competitors.
Right, it's just an inductive charger that you put somewhere in the car.
Right.
Which there are many aftermarket accessory places that have those.
Right. Now the second item is a cargo net for the Model X. They said compatible with 6 and 7 seat configurations, the stretchable elastic netting will safely protect fragile items or more secure cargo like sports equipment or luggage, featuring easy installation. Model X cargo net also includes a storage bag for convenient stowing at home or on the road, and this is $50.
So again, that's a little pricey, but I haven't really seen anyone using cargo nets in a Model X before.
Right.
Mostly because the accessory didn't exist, but also because there aren't that many places that actually make them specifically for the Model X.
Yeah.
I think this is a positive thing. If you really needed a cargo net and you didn't want to buy some kind of chintzy, crappy thing that you didn't know where it was coming from, great.
So federal U.S. District Court Judge James Boasberg last week called for the 1,172-mile Dakota Access Pipeline, that's the one that runs from North Dakota to Illinois, to be shut down and called for all the oil remaining in it to be emptied within 30 days.
The existing environmental permit from the Army Corps of Engineers has been revoked, and it could take years to review the permit.
So Standing Rock Sioux Tribe chairperson Mike Faith said, this pipeline should have never been built here. We told them that from the beginning. But get this, the owner of the pipeline, Dallas-based Energy Transfer LP, is refusing to follow the order.
So a judge said you have to stop using the pipeline and empty it of oil in the next 30 days. And the guy goes, no, I don't have to do that.
Energy Transfer spokesperson Vicky Granado said to Bloomberg, we believe Judge James Boasberg exceeded his authority and does not have the jurisdiction to shut down the pipeline or stop the flow of crude oil.
Okay, but they're not judges. So, I mean, what can happen here?
Well, if Energy Transfer doesn't take the traditional route of appealing to the Supreme Court or asking the District Court of Columbia to suspend the decision, if they actually just refuse like they're doing now, the District Court could hold them in contempt of court and issue fines or jail time. And my guess is that they don't care about fines because it'll be some money, but it's going to make them more money to keep the pipeline open.
So, like, if I were driving around at 100 miles an hour and they gave me a speeding ticket and it was like $5, and they're like, don't speed, it's $5 ticket. I'd be like, all right, see you later. Great, I'll pay the ticket and I'll keep driving at 100 miles an hour.
Who writes the laws?
Lawmakers.
Who lobbies the lawmakers?
Lobbyists.
Who pays the lobbyists?
The oil industry.
Yeah. The laws have been written so that when they do get a fine, they're pretty much willing to pay it because it's just a cost of doing business to them. Like, you're right. You and I, when we get a fine, it hurts so much, we don't want to do that again.
Right.
But when corporations are faced with losing out on billions of dollars of revenue or paying a few $1 million in fines, they go, all right, we'll pay a few $1 million in fines. And if someone's going to go to jail, who can we throw? Fred, you're going to jail.
Right. I never liked you, Fred. You're going to jail.
Yeah. And by the way, Rick Perry, who is Trump's former energy secretary, is on the board of Energy Transfer. So they probably know that they've got inside connections to government and they're going to be fine.
Wow, that's just absolutely disgusting.
But if you're looking for some good news here, and let's keep in mind, this is good news. A judge has ruled that this pipeline cannot be continued. Mm-hmm. But speaking of pipelines, Dominion Energy and Duke Energy are canceling the $8 billion, 600-mile natural gas Atlantic Coast pipeline that they had planned.
Why is that?
Well, the rising costs and delays caused by legal challenges is basically the reason why they can't do it. And here's where I want to thank groups like the NRDC, the Natural Resources Defense Council, and Earth Justice. These are groups that bring these lawsuits on. And because you and I, We're not lawyers. We don't have the money to do this. These groups have the lawyers, they have the money, and they bring these lawsuits, and they keep these things from happening.
Okay, well, where do they get the money from?
You and I.
Because basically, we don't have the time to go and sue these people. And I'm also not a lawyer, and I don't have a team of lawyers, unfortunately. But these groups do. And so by helping to support these groups, we're actually able to stop pipelines.
Yeah.
How awesome is that?
Yeah, because basically our legislative branch is broken. Our executive branch seems to be broken. All we seem to have left is our judicial branch.
Right.
And if you want to do something and you're like, well, I can't stop a pipeline, you can put solar on your roof. I mean, that makes me feel good every day when I wake up. And I know that my power is not coming from fossil fuels. So if you want to get solar on your roof and you're like, but where do I begin? I know it's a little overwhelming. Call up our friends at Energy Pal, and they're going to help walk you through all the costs and the benefits and whether it's right for you or it's wrong for you. There'll be no sales pressure, and you can ask as many questions as you want, and you can do it on your time frame.
Because they aren't actually selling you a system.
Right.
They are going to find you a system that works well for you because they aren't installing it themselves. And in fact, you're not even paying for them. Whichever installer you end up going with is going to be paying Energy Pal because Energy Pal helped you.
Right. Yeah. So use our referral code down in the link below, and you'll be helping out the show and maybe helping you to get solar.
And you won't be helping fossil fuel industries.
All right, it's time for our video contributor stories sponsored by our friends at GoPuck, where you can get a powerful battery that you can stick in your pocket and charge up all your devices. Link is down below. All right, so who do we have this week, Jess?
Well, we have Graham showing us some new charging stations in Sydney.
All right, g'day guys. Here I am in Argyle Street, Sydney, and what I'm interested to show you is our first what looks to be on-street charging and parking bays. As you can see, it's not actually open yet. Soon, we hope. It's essentially right under the lead up. That's what that big bridge there is to the actual Sydney Harbour Bridge. From the looks of it, you get to park and pay for your charging all at one go. It shows me that the normal middle of the day weekdays parking cost is about $6.20 per hour. That gets you parking and charging. Any other time it's $4.20 an hour. Quite simply, it's just two Type 2 charging ports, so it's BYO cable. As you can see, it's located in the historic Rocks region of Sydney. There's plenty of places to eat, relax and enjoy the view. Now you know.
Well, thank you, Graham. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love video contributor stories. If you've got a story you want to share with our viewers, send it on in to Zach@nowyouknowchannel.com. Make it 2 minutes or less. Make sure it has good audio, no music, and we'll see if we can get it on the show.
And now it's time for the Patreon bonus stories. So if you want to check out these extra stories, you can head over to patreon.com/nowyouknow. Support us for as little as $1 a month. $1 a month. And you're going to be getting Patreon bonus stories every week, which is less than $1 a week. We're talking about pretty much like a quarter to 17 cents per Patreon bonus story. It'll help support this show, and we get to talk, directly to our awesome patrons, which we're about to do right now.
Hey everybody, we're back from the Patreon bonus stories. That was a load of fun. It's time to thank our patrons who support us with $5 or more every month. These are our Patreon shout-outs, and these people get to go at the end of the show onto our credits, which is getting longer and longer, and I love it. Who do we got, Jess?
We have Troy Breutzman,
Got Rob Brockman,
Daniel Olson,
Ronnie Lloyd,
Earl Nauman,
Marty Young,
Daniel Yu,
Gary Stimson,
Jimmy Pennington,
Jeffrey Hall,
Troy Lang,
Renee DeGode,
Ryan Mara,
and Rocky Stones.
Thank you so much for supporting this channel. We can't do it without you.
All right, it's time for Elon's tweets of the week. Buckle up. There's a lot again.
All right.
Nailed it. Whole Mars Catalog said, let's recap for those who are new here. 1. Tesla shorts mounted a vicious disinformation campaign against Elon worst ever seen. 2. Elon won. Tesla stunk goes from 180 to 1200. Elon puts flaming red short shorts on Tesla store for $69.420. And 4. Instantly sold out. Elon said, nailed it.
So this is, dunking on the Tesla short trolls who have been, it's been relentless.
Yep. And Teslarati did an article on Tesla Tequila, and Elon said, coming soon, our battle with Big Tequila, it's real.
Yeah, so
But
apparently...
he doesn't have enough enemies.
Right, he's going to make tequila, Big Tequila, his enemy. You'd think you'd want them on your side.
And then John has said, unpopular opinion, Twitter should suspend verified users who engage in targeted harassment and bullying. Elon Musk would agree, I think. And Elon said, for sure. And Ashley Vance said, I know Elon likes to hold on to his Tesla shares to show commitment to the cause and the company and all that, but there must be a point at which he cashes in to buy a six-pack of Mars rockets, right? And Elon said, essentially, long-term purpose of my Tesla stock is to help make life multiplanetary to ensure its continuance. The massive capital needs are in 10 to 20 years. By then, if we're fortunate, Tesla's goal of accelerating sustainable energy and autonomy will be mostly accomplished.
That is the coolest tweet you could have ever written, as long as you're serious. And he's serious.
Yep. All civilizations become either spacefaring or extinct. That's a quote from Carl Sagan. Elon said, I love Carl Sagan.
Of course he does.
Lex Fridman said, words do not express thoughts very well. They always become a little different immediately after they're expressed, a little distorted, a little foolish. And that's a quote from Herman Hesse. And Elon said, words are a very lossy compression of thought.
Of course, he's referring to Neuralink, wherein you could just... This is what I mean exactly.
Oh, thank you.
I don't need a thesaurus.
Then Vincent said, Tesla China Model 3 achieves new sales record of 14,954 units, 23% of China's total EV market in June. And Elon said, Tesla China team is awesome. Australian Tesla owners said, Elon, can we get the side repeater cameras to show full screen when indicating, please?
Elon said, sure. I hope they make that an option.
Wait, so you put on your blinker to go right, and then the screen shows what's on your right?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
You don't want it?
I want it as an option.
Okay.
I want to see if I like it. If I don't like it, I don't want to have it.
All right, and then we mentioned this earlier in the show. Tesla in the Gong said, favorite fictional character ever, and Elon said?
Samwise Gamgee. So...
He likes loyal friends that stick with you through thick and thin. I like that.
Okay. That's his favorite fictional character.
It was tough going there for a while. Frodo in the Ring. I mean, he got pretty crazy, but his buddy stuck with him.
Okay. I would have thought it would have been like, I guess not Sherlock Holmes.
And then Vista Cruiser 7 said, Viv, for 5+ years, I've thought and written about a large part of the shorts not actually making a bet that Tesla is overvalued, but attempting to slow down the transition to EVs, sustainable energy. Who would have such a motive? The fossil fuel economy wealthy, 10% of the economy? Elon said, there's some of that too.
Yeah, and this is something
what we've been saying to you
we've
all
been
along.
Talking about that quite a bit.
And then Kenyon Wall Street said CEO Elon will soon get the first paycheck of his $56 billion payout package after the firm's 6-month average market capitalization reached a record of $138 billion. Elon said, not actually a payout, just a vesting of stock options. It may never pay out as the stock can't be sold for 5 years after exercise. The stock must be bought and income taxes paid, then hold value for 5 years. And DJ Zink said, still better than a poke in the eye. And Elon said, true.
Right. I mean, right. This isn't cash that they're handing to Elon. This is the ability to buy shares, which he has to pay for and pay tax on, then has to hold for 5 years.
Right.
It's not like
but this
a
gives
big
him
check.
This gives him the incentive to make the stock price go up.
Exactly.
And then Red Mercy said, hey, Elon, can we get a percentage tracker and speed of download shown when we download updates?
Elon said yes. I don't know why he said yes. I mean, I would like that, but like, is it my top priority? No, I don't. Like,
He didn't
it's not
say
the end
when.
of the world.
Right.
Plus, it does give you a percentage.
Right.
It just doesn't tell you how long it'll take.
Also, who cares? It takes a few minutes.
And plus, when have you ever had a download thing that gave you an accurate download time? It's never happened, except for Steam. Steam is pretty accurate.
Then Technostic said, any chance we can get the game of Go on our Teslas? One that picks up play where you last left off?
Elon said, okay. Great.
Okay. Got something
And
else?
maybe they'll have the AI on there that beats all humans.
He's giving out more stuff here. Ali Afshafari said, Elon, can we add 10-second forward feature to Music UI? I would love skipping forward some ads and podcasts.
And I would love skipping forward the slow intros on some songs. There's some songs that start and they're just like, and I want the part that's like, boom, 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 boom. You know, like I don't want the slow intro. So 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds. Da 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 da.
Well, he's working on it.
Thank
Because
you.
Elon says, in general, we need to improve how podcasts play.
Nice.
And I think that's because of Rogan going on Spotify.
Could be.
And then Elon said, I spoke with Korolov's family today. He was one of the very best. And if you don't know who that is, Korolov was a lead Soviet rocket engineer during the space race. He died in 1966.
So I don't know why he was talking to his family, but
I don't know. Maybe he's going to name a rocket after him.
interesting. Yeah, I mean, Elon really dives deep when he gets into stuff. He's not a geek, okay? You know, the old geeks versus nerds thing. He is a nerd.
Gotcha.
He knows everything. He doesn't just, put on glasses and pretends like he is, I'm so nerdy. No, you're not. He's a true nerd.
Interesting. All right, it's time for community mail time.
Community mail time.
So our friend Donovan in Sweden noticed this beautiful little electric delivery van.
Who makes it?
I believe this is a Paxter.
Yeah, it does look like a Paxter.
And it's that's PostNord. So very cute little mobile.
Yeah.
And one of our viewers spotted this Leaf that you can drive while you're getting your oil changed, which is probably the most ironic thing you could do. And Holger went to the Tesla Museum in Croatia, and they have a list of all of his patents there, along with some of his.
That's where Tesla's from.
Yeah, exactly. And so they have a bunch of cool stuff there.
Yeah, I mean, right around when he died, people came and got a lot of his stuff that they could gather up and brought it back to the museum because they knew it might disappear. Yeah. And a lot of that did disappear. The U.S. government grabbed a lot of it.
And Scott saw this little Mitsubishi mini cab, electric.
Cute. That's really. I've never even heard of that. Where is this?
This is in Australia. It was imported from Japan.
Wow, that's cool.
Isn't that a nice? It's like a little Paxter.
Yeah.
And this is from our friend Kyle in St. Louis.
Hello, Zach and Jesse. This is Kyle from St. Louis, and I wanted to thank you guys for everything that you do. I wanted to let you guys know that I got my first electric bike, and you guys were a big source of inspiration for that. I got it today. I've been having a great time riding around and really been enjoying myself, so thank you guys for that. I also would like to encourage, if you're not a Patreon supporter, please support these guys on Patreon. I know that they do the best that they can, and they're really doing it for the right reasons, and it's sincere. So thanks, Zach and Jesse. Now you know.
Oh, that's really nice.
Thank you so much, Kyle.
I hope you have a lot of fun on that bike.
He looks like he's going like 20 on that thing.
The fat tires are awesome. You can go anywhere in that thing. And it folds up, so you can just put it in the car or whatever. That's great. Have fun with it, Kyle. All right, it's time for the results of our poll. And last week we asked, is this hardware version 4?
Right, because remember, we had seen that picture that our friend had taken. And so let's take a look at the results. The top result was, relax, guys. This is a test mule or some kind of advanced R&D project. The second most popular opinion was, this is the setup for the new Cybertruck.
Yeah, that's what I think.
The extra cameras are for backing up trailers.
That's what I think too.
So, I mean, we put a couple of other options on there. We always try and put a bunch of different options for our poll. And if you want to be a part of this poll, if you have your opinion and you want it to be heard, you can help support this show as well. Head over to Patreon and support us for just $2 a month, and you'll have access to the polls.
All right, time for our Supercharger review, sponsored by our friends at Evannex, the Tesla community's accessory store. Looking for awesome accessories for your Tesla? Then check out Evannex and use our discount code NowYouKnow to save you $10 on purchases over $100.
Hey, Zach and Jesse. We're here at the Madison, Connecticut northbound Supercharger. This is just off of I-95. It's basically a rest area with a Subway, a Dunkin' Donuts, little convenience store, and 10 250 kilowatt superchargers. There is a drive-through, and it is just around behind the drive-through. It's labeled truck parking, but it's just behind the drive-through.
Hi, Now You Know community. Mike here at the 8 stall 150 kilowatt supercharger in West Yellowstone, Montana. I gotta start out with the rating for the supercharger. This is a 10 out of 10. Not because of the supercharger itself, but because of what all is right here. So right behind it here is the Wolf and Grizzly Discovery Center, where you can see bears and wolves close up. Right next to it down there, we have a restaurant. Just a little further down, we have an IMAX theater. Then there is the visitor center, and where the visitor center is the turnoff to go into Yellowstone National Park. So it's just a block from the west entrance of the national park. Also, we got lots of other options, all these resorts around here. There's a McDonald's down there, and this street right here going down, it's basically the main street of West Yellowstone. So from right here, you can walk through pretty much the entire town of West Yellowstone, go through all the little gift shops, all the restaurants, the burger places, everything. You can rent ATVs in the summertime, snowmobiles in the wintertime, skis, bicycles, depending on the season. Yeah, so this is super fun. So come in here with a empty battery and charge up at the West Yellowstone, Montana Supercharger and walk through town and enjoy this town. This is a super cool place. Well, now you know.
Hey, Zach and Jesse, Tina Christofferson here in Springdale, Utah at a destination charger at the Cable Mountain Lodge. And this, I think, has to be one of the prettiest destinations anywhere. Right outside of Zion National Park. There are 3 chargers. There's a brew pub right over there. There's little stores and all kinds of places, restaurants. And it's just really beautiful, obviously, right outside of Zion National Park. Check it out if you're ever in southern Utah. And now you know.
Hey, Zach and Jesse. This is Max and Grant visiting the Allentown, Pennsylvania Supercharger. We're at an 8-stall Supercharger, and there's lots of stuff to do around here in terms of getting out with your rest stop. We have auto stores and Staples and grocery stores, and over here we got a Wendy's and a Red Robin if you're looking for something to eat. Looks like there's a craft store and maybe a Chili's or some other thing in the background over there. And what I just noticed in the background right there is a movie theater. So if you're traveling through this area and you're in Allentown, Pennsylvania, it's definitely a cool supercharger to stop at. Right, Grant?
Yeah!
All right, now you know.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Love Supercharger reviews. It makes me feel like this pandemic isn't as bad because we're at least getting to see people out there in the world doing stuff. And yeah, you can just hop in your Tesla anytime. It's okay.
Right. Just go take a picture and don't, wear your mask or whatever you're going to do.
Yeah. All right. We got new Superchargers?
We do have new Superchargers. We have the 8-stall 250 kilowatt in Tainan at the Art Museum in Taiwan.
We've got the 8-stall 250 kilowatt in Hayburn, Idaho.
We have the 12-stall urban supercharger in Bothell, Washington.
We have the 8-stall version 3 in Lake Placid, New York.
We have the 12-stall level 3 in Apeldoorn, Netherlands.
We have the 2-stall 150 kilowatt in Tarragona, Spain.
And the 8-stall level 3 in Tacna, Arizona.
Nice. All right, well, you made it to the giveaway, and we're going to be pulling out a winner for this. Is this the one we're giving away?
Nope.
Is this the one we're giving away?
Yes.
I hope you're into Rick and Morty because you're getting a portal gun.
That's what you're getting.
Portal gun parking only. All right. So to get to this big barrel of fun, you have to be one of our Patreon supporters. And the more you support us, the more times you get in there. Who's our winner this week, Jess?
Winner this week is Matthew Tacoma.
Congratulations, Matthew. You're going to get a Poster Envy poster that we're going to sign for you. And you made it to the end of the show.
Congratulations for making it to the end of the show. Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah.
Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done that already. It's free. I know that normally when you subscribe for things, there's a subscription fee and you have to pay all sorts of stuff.
But you don't.
It's 100% free.
And you might be saying, well, then why should I bother?
Well, that's a nice little question. You will be notified whenever we come out with a new video. Actually, you won't be notified. You have to then hit the bell button.
Well, then why should I bother to subscribe?
Because if you subscribe, there you go. If you subscribe, that will add to the little number on the subscribe thing, and that will give us.
You're not selling me. I'm not sold.
Listen. The more subscribers that we have, the more cool stuff we can do. Because when we go to companies and businesses and people like rock stars, maybe we'll get
Yeah, like Dead Mouse.
Sure, or Mick Jagger or something. If we have enough subscribers,
Might get him in a car.
then we'd get him in a car.
I
or whatever.
think when we get our Cybertruck, and don't forget, we're going to be one of the first YouTubers to get the Cybertruck because we're in like the top 20. When we get that Cybertruck, I'd like to get a lot of people in the truck to get them talking about it, to get them excited about it, So yeah, we should be talking about like who can we get in the truck. Also, before that truck, we're getting another truck. We're getting the semi-truck.
Right. And is Burt Reynolds still alive?
I don't know.
We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out for you because I want to remake Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh yes.
With the Tesla semi truck and the Roadster.
Can I play Burt Reynolds?
Sure.
All right. Hey, all right.
Yeah, he's still alive.
He died.
He died?
2019.
Oh. All right.
So he died in 2018.
Well, there's big shoes to fill.
Yeah. But I think I could do it. I could get the mustache and I could
shave off everything
else.
else.
Right. I could
Perfect.
Do it. All right.
And then
And then that was like one of my favorite movies as a kid.
Right, and then instead of the Trans Am, we have the Roadster. It's
Oh
just
my
it's
gosh, yes.
the classic retelling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we could pitch this, no problem.
I think so, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's a simple pitch.
Sure.
Smokey the Bandit, but with Teslas.
Boom.
Boom. Right?
That's the elevator pitch.
And at the end of Smokey the Bandit, where they're calling up all the the people on the CB radio, we're gonna be, it'll be it could be a documentary too, where basically all the Tesla groups come out to block the police from pulling us over.
Yes.
Exactly. Even though they would never be able to catch us.
I love
the
it.
Roadster, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Awesome. I love it.
So
because then we get to drive. Wasn't there a point where they drive out of the back of the truck?
I don't remember.
I think so.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. So,
is it because it's so hot in here? Is that why we're losing our brains?
No, it's because it's a lot of news to cover, and we have to write it every week.
Yeah,
and we've done it 201 weeks in a row.
But we're glad to do it. Thank you for joining us, guys. We'll see you next week.
Now you know.